Today I'm installing Enterprise Analyzer on a AWS instance in the cloud. You can see the information on the server over here. Typically you are delivered a number of items prior to installation. You will essentially need some installation media. In this case I have a zip file. You will also need some licensing files or license numbers to input at the requisite time. And it's also a good idea to have some sample sources or some sources ready to load. The first thing you're going to have to do is ensure that the media are extracted in a format such that you can see this sort of output. So you're not trying to install directly from the zip. First thing you do is execute the installation program. And it's going to ask you where you would like to install the product to. It's quite a good idea sometimes, depending on this configuration, to install not on drive C, but in this case I'll accept the default location. I say that because typically on some laptops these days we have limited drive space on drive C. As you can see, there are a number of items it comes with. In this case, SQL Server Express, a web client, and other Micro Focus packages. Definitely you want to leave on ticked the administration tool. If you are using the product standalone without a relational database package, you want to also tick on SQL Server Express, as that's the default small database that comes with the product. But you can untick that and use larger relational databases as your preferred database client, database server if you wish. So I'm going to accept that. I also am going to accept the license agreement and run the install. This is going to install all the requisite components. And when it's completed, we will be also having to go through a further step of what's called configuration. The setup is now completed successfully, and we're about to enter configuration. So I'll close that screen. This is the area we choose which languages we wish to be supported in the product. Don't worry about the licensing area. We'll talk about licensing in a second. And those are the defaults, so I can happily accept the defaults. Configuration Manager completes the packages and the product is now installed. The next step we have to do is to ensure that it's licensed. And so, as you can see, the programs that are installed include both Enterprise Analyzer product itself, the administration program, and a license administration program as well. So we need to fire up the license administration program to add our license. And we're going to browse for the particular license concerned. As you can see, I'm in the right directory. And I'm going to add, in this case, it's a licensing file. Sometimes you may be asked to add a number, but typically this is also a second way of doing it. So that license file contains all the information that's required. And all I have to do is hit install licenses. And in the summary tab, you'll see that it's been fully licensed. We do also have a second licensing file, and this is to do with the Business Rule Manager, which is a separately licensable product. But we'll come on to that in a separate session. The product is now installed and licensed, and what we can try and do, I'll show you what happens when we do it. If we go straight into the Enterprise Analyzer product itself, and what we don't have at the moment is any workspaces set up. We'll talk about workspaces later, but that just proves that the product is up and running. We can see that the current version we have is 6.0.0.419. This also then brings me to the question of hot fixes. Also, in this particular example, you may need to install hot fixes or supplementary fixes. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. I've installed hotfix 3 here, which is version 5.8.3, a slightly later version. To install a hotfix, it's exactly the same process. You execute the installation package. And when the new versions of the product are installed, it will also repeat the configuration to configure the new versions of the product. Be aware that you may also need to upgrade some of the workspaces through the administration tool if you have parsed some sources in a previous version and are then putting a hotfix over the top of a base version. There is a work and an administration upgrade feature in the administrator application which allows you to do this. Once again, we reconfigure with the latest versions of the product, and we can then restart Enterprise Analyzer. And we can check. Here we have 6.03.5.8.3 as the very latest version. That concludes the demonstration of Enterprise Analyzer, product installation and licensing. Thank you.